Can I get a vote? Okay, it's unanimous. All right, we're minus Ms. Williams. Andy. All right, we have recommendations from the executive session. I am passing the podium over to the interim superintendent.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, I bring to you recommendations for personnel. And we'll start with the principal of Mount Zion Primary School. And the recommendation is Dr. Lynette Hadley.
Mr. Superintendent, I would like to make a motion for the principal of Mount Zion Primary to be Dr. Lynette Hadley. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, the motion has been made by myself and seconded by Ms. Mary Baker. Can I get a vote? Okay, it's unanimous minus Ms. Williams. Ms. Hadley, are you in the house? Dr. Hadley, I'm sorry. Dr. Hadley, don't go anywhere. After the superintendent is finished, we will take a quick photo with you, all right? Thank you.
Second recommendation I have this evening is for the Senior Chief of Staff, Academics and District Operations. And for that position, I recommend Dr. Keith Colbert.
All right. Hold on. He didn't get it yet. Ms. Tellers Cooper?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for Dr. Keith Colbert to be the chief of staff,
You got it?
senior chief.
Do I have a second?
I'm gonna second it. I second it.
All right.
We
I got 2 seconds.
got
All right,
another one.
get that 2 seconds. The motion has been made, and we're going to take 2 seconds on this. That's Ms. Haney and Dr. Gorey. All right,
Well,
Dr. Haney, I'm sorry.
We got a third over here too, so we got like 3 seconds.
Got you. Can I get a vote? The motion has been made, properly seconded, and it is Ms. Hill? It's unanimous minus Ms. Williams. Got it? Dr. Colbert, where are you? All right, sir. I think that's it for executive session.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Easement.
oh, I'm sorry, okay, we have an easement. I think that's on you. Can I get a motion for the easement?
I move to approve the Georgia Power easement request for the new North Clayton High School at 1730 East Pleasant Hill Road.
Can I get a second?
And I'm gonna second with Ms. Baker since that's in my district.
All right, we got a new format going on now. That's, Ms. Cooper is the motion, and you can put those 2 down for the second. Can I get a vote? No more seconds.
No more seconds.
It's unanimous minus Ms. Williams.
Abstaining.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's, yeah, Dr. Haney abstained. Ms. Williams is absent. The rest are positive. All right, can I get you 2 up here, please, real quick? Dr. Headley and
You can tell him since he don't speak to me. Cobb is the name.
Mr. Christmas?
Mr. Chair, we have an elected official in the office, in the building, Councilman Cobb,
Councilman Cobb.
from the City of Riverdale.
City. Thanks for attending, sir. Board members, we have updates. We're going to start with Ms. Bowles. Ms. Bowles, you're up.
Right. Superintendent.
All right. Good evening, community. Glad to be with you today. Two quick updates. Number one, last week we transitioned this month's yoga offering to April 15th. So I want you to know that you, your families, your scholars, and parents, staff, everybody is welcome. The second update I want to give is as we close out Women's History Month, I want to give a shout out to the young ladies at Sequoia Middle School. I had the opportunity to visit with them today for the Women's History Tea. And I just want to give a major shout out to Ms. Taylor Ector and all of the incredible work that she and her colleagues are doing over at Sequoia Middle School. So as we close out Women's History Month, I hope that you are thinking of or carrying a woman who's near and dear to your heart as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowles. Mr. Christmas? Dr. Goree?
Everyone, thank you all for your presence here this evening. I am going to ask that all of the women, and there may be some young ladies, young girls in here, if you will please stand. All right, I'm asking you to stand, as Ms. Bowles mentioned, as we close out Women's History Month. I will be having my event tomorrow called the Girls Conference. And as you know, in 1913, March 13, 1913, there was a march that was held on Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C., where women gathered from all across the country to come and try to get their rights. Many people don't know that women didn't have the right to vote, they didn't have the right to own property, they didn't have the right to do many things. So I want to salute all of you all because you're all queens, bosses, and people that have been trailblazers throughout this country. So I want to thank you all so much for being women. You know, we are superstars, we're super women. And if you are available, should the superintendent let you slide by tomorrow, come and join me at our girls' conference. It will be at the Performing Arts Center. It will be from 9 until 1 o'clock. We will have a guest speaker. We will have sessions for our young ladies. We will have young ladies from every school in the district, and I want to thank the superintendent for allowing this field trip for all of our students to participate. Thank you all so much. You may be seated. I want to acknowledge some birthday people. I see Mr. Ed Blackwood, who just had a birthday. I don't know if Major Williams is here. His birthday was on Friday. And I do know that John Crane's birthday will be tomorrow. So we want to say happy birthday to all of those individuals. And I spent, had a great time on, I have my purple on because purple is the color that represents Women's History Month. I visited Riverdale Elementary School on Friday to participate in their Women's History Month activity. On Saturday, and I don't want to steal all the thunder, Dr. Haney and I went over to Jonesboro High School for the annual rivalry between the North and the South, and I want you to know that the North side took the trophy. Now, last year we had a little incident, we lost, but this time we had it going on. So we had a great time there. I also started at the Virginia Grace Center. Dr. Hendricks was going to join us, but we had Mr. Joseph to come. We were a great team to talk about the new North Clayton High School and the Convocation Center / Arena at South Lake. Also on Thursday, I had the opportunity to go to the Capitol for Clayton County Day. Mr. Straker was also present at that event. We had all of our high schools, well, almost all of our high schools attended, and it was a beautiful day. So I am just happy to serve the students, because I work for the children of Clayton County and for all of the constituency, but mainly for our students. And I'm gonna pass the mic. Oh, yeah, see, they flipped that picture real quick. See that picture right there? Notice that they let the red lady sit in with the pretty girls. And then I'm just gonna call them the Reds. Now, those little girls stole the show on Saturday. If anybody in here from Lee Street has it going on. So anyway, I'm gonna pass the mic.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Hello, everybody. I have one event coming up April 15th from 5:30 to 7. It's like a parent engagement meeting. I don't want to call it a town hall. It's called Visions, Voices, and Validations. So we can validate that we have an issue. We can hear your voices and vision a solution. And that would be at Forest Park High School from 5:30 to 7. Anybody can come, and the flyer should be out this week. Thank you.
Good deal, thanks. Ms. Baker? Ms. Amy? Oh, dang.
All right. Hey, everybody. As you all can see, District 5 went to a partner church over here at Bethlehem City of Faith, where they always have activities for the community. This is their second annual community day. District 5 was on a roll on Saturday. After that, District 5 went over to Jonesboro High School to participate and just support them over there, as Dr. Gorey stated. Then District 5 went over to Miss Jerry's in Forest Park to just, to support Jonesboro's jazz band over there. And so I was very happy to be a part of that. And like we said, we all work for our children, and just to see our children in different spots. Also before that, let me back all the way up. Friday evening, District 5 was over at Jonesboro High School again. This is by invite. They're inviting us. And so I went there, and Officer Jones, who has a mentoring group called Jewels of Jonesboro, very effective mentoring group for young girls. A lot of our seniors are there. I was so happy to hear that our senior girls have already received their college acceptance. We have 2 that's going into the armed forces. I mean, it was just great. The credit counseling classes they had the resume writing classes, manifestation class. I mean, they had it all. So it's very organized, and we had other community partners visit as well. Also, just to belabor, as Dr. Haney is always riding around the county, I just want to compliment. Sometimes we always look at the bad, and so sometimes we need to highlight the good. So Dr. Haney was on Highway 85. I had to write it down because I keep a pad in my car. On March 11, I want to give kudos to Ms. Hall's team. On March 11, our bus driver was right here on Highway 85 near the apartments going up about to go up on 75 right there between, as you come out of Drew, you come on Highway 85. Okay, so we had a little zoom who was trying to get around the bus. And so I'm in one lane, they're trying to get around me. They're trying to get around the bus, and so our bus driver just politely pulled over, let our precious cargo off the bus, made sure they were safe. But as she was about to pull off and merge over and back onto the street, Mr. Zoom was trying to now get past her. The arm of the stop was not even completely in, so he just wanted to go by. What I admire about this bus driver is that she patiently waited, and she even smiled. And she still had precious cargo on that bus. Now, it could have been some choice words that she had in her head, because I had them when I said them. But at the same time, I was just really proud of how she handled that. And that was bus number, Ms. Hall, 1093. So make sure you make a note of that and tell her Dr. Haney was really proud of her. Also, I received from one of the teachers here, she just told me, yes, ma'am, it's okay to announce it. This teacher finally got all of her certifications, everything that she needed to be a bona fide teacher here educator here in Clayton County Public Schools. And she was so proud, and she said, Dr. Haney, I have never seen or experienced someone from the HR department walk me through, make sure I got everything, and stayed on me. She said, thank you. She said, I'm so excited. CCPS has been the biggest blessing through this whole process. She said, Adrian Paul in certification is the GOAT. So I'm just reading that, all right? All right. And so make sure you let her know that. And I just wanted to highlight that. But overall, the district was really showing out this past weekend just to see everybody in place and doing what they were doing. And even, you know, we had some little rowdies, but at the same time, they took care of that safety and security, always on point to ensure that. And I even learned that our safety, I forgot we had the arena over there. I mean, we just caught up in everything, and I was taught that they do right around that and make sure that's secure as well. So everybody's doing a great job. I mean, I hear this. I don't step over my bounds, but when people come to me for something good, rather than we get the negative, we see that on Facebook. But it's time to highlight some good that you all do, and it does not go unrecognized. So I just want to give that shout out.
Ms. Tellis, I'm sorry, Ms. Baker.
Good evening. I guess I'm up there. We had the Gun Safety Forum, and I want to thank Dr. Hendricks for coming and sharing his story. It wasn't an easy story to share. Some of us are part of a club called Gun Violence, and it's not one that I want anybody else to have to join. So I appreciate all who came out. We had D.A. Mosley there. We had our Chief Walker. Someone from Clayton County Police was there. All these people take their time to educate our community about gun safety, and then we end the evening by giving out gun locks, because I can say faithfully that everyone here prays for our children, but I never want to have to pray for another parent who's lost theirs to gun violence. So thank you for all who came out, and I try to do that twice a year. So getting on something a little more fun, I'm wearing my shirt tonight from Dare to Dream. Gave us all shirts. We have some of the most incredible students in this school system. So I didn't get to, when they gave it to me last time, it was too cold, so I couldn't wear it. So that was that. Then the K-12 School of the Arts system, pathway, whatever we want to call it, gave a special performance for the board members and a luncheon. And again, fantastic to see the things that they're taking. They're winning awards all over the place. And then on Saturday, I was at Arts Clayton for the art show. And if you get a chance to go by, I only dream to do some of the art that those students can do. So just, again, great things happening in Clayton County. I'm glad, as you can see, we kind of divide and conquer, because there is so much going on, nobody can be at one place. So that's it.
Ms. Cooper.
Let's see where we're starting. Okay, so I did mention North Clayton last time, but I told you it was some stats that I wanted to go over. I don't know if we were able to put those up. But first of all, I want to thank Coach Troop, Coach Saylor, Principal Scarborough, I know I messed up his name, Burl, and also the rest of the staff there for inviting me out for their honors night. Some of the stats that I wanted to put up and talk about last time was there was 97 students who earned all A's. 215 of those students qualified for the A and B honor roll. 70 of those students was recognized for perfect attendance that night, and over 15 students, their CTAE they had a special recognition there. So I just wanted those stats to be out because a fun fact, my daughter graduated from North Clayton High School. She went over there for the IB program, so it was nice of them to invite me back to speak that night at the honors program. So can we just give those kids a round of applause, because they did an awesome job that night. Next up, I wanted to highlight, of course, you know that our kids are going to Carnegie Hall, our Morrow Band, jazz band, and I wanted to just highlight a couple of pictures from when the Clayton County Foundation gave them a check for $25,000 to be able to attend. So it's the picture of the foundation and, of course, us with the band. But I also wanted to give a shout out to the Board of Education because we also gave $5,500 to complete what they needed to go on their tour on their trip to Carnegie Hall. So they're up there, and I know they're going to represent us well. I also wanted to highlight, I wanted to thank over at Adamson Middle School, it was Mr. Gay, Ms. Ship, and Mr. Redding, along with the principal, for inviting me to Adamson Middle School. They reached out to me to come, along with all the individuals up here, to read to the DES students. So I had a fantastic job. I don't know if many of you know, but my mother actually started off as, number one, a parapro, and then she went to a special education teacher where she retired. I thought she was going to stay retired, but she loved it so much, she has gone back to teach. So this kind of holds a near and dear part to me, so I really enjoyed spending time with them on that day. So I just appreciate them for inviting me out to read to the individuals and have a great time. There's a couple of pictures of the different classes, so we had an awesome time, and I think I got an invite back. They sent me another email to come back, so I'll be glad to go back and spend some time with them. Next up, and I can't believe some of the other board members did not mention this, but it was hosted by myself, Ben Straker, and Miss Sabrina Hill, the meet and greet with the superintendent. And as you can see, yay, we can clap for that. We had the community to come out, and it was just an awesome night because it was not only Dr. Hendricks just telling about his 90-day initiative that he has. The community was also engaged. There were some good questions that came out of there and some great answers that came out of there. So I think we're headed in the right direction as to where we're going. I'm sure, I don't know if some of the other board members want to talk about their event and their meet and greet, but it was really good over in the Morrow area. So kudos to that. I think we're going in the right direction, and thank you, Dr. Hendricks, for actually doing this. So that was good for the community to connect with you.
Great deal.
I think that is all that's on my list. Oh, I wanted to say, Ms. Gorey, she did go ahead and mention it, but I did want to say thank you to the ladies, this being the last day, well, one day before Women History ends. Thank you to all the ladies that have made a great impact, and I appreciate that. I think I'm done.
Good stuff. Aren't you glad that I added that board update thing? You get to hear them all. Last but not least is the superintendent, Dr. Hendricks. If you could give us a brief update first before you jump into your updates.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Your Rex meal. You want to tell them about that?
No,
Okay.
They can read about it in Facebook.
Well,
Go ahead, Dr. Hendricks.
before he goes, can we just recognize one more person as well? Our intern. Is Adrian
Yep.
Frank?
Come on out here, Adrian.
Adrian, please come out.
Clem, you'll be proud of this one.
I want to recognize our intern. Come on out here in the middle, Adrian. As I mentioned on Thursday, go out there so everybody can see you. In the middle. We work for children, and on Thursday we went to the Capitol, and I was so pleased because I want to thank the superintendent first of all for being so kind as to allow safety and security to transport our intern to the Capitol. It was so nice that when we pulled up, the Georgia State Patrol, they moved their car back so we could park directly in front of the Capitol. We took him there. We introduced him to all of the people that we needed to introduce him to, especially our chairwoman, Dr. Anderson. It was hosting the event. We are so proud of him, and I'm gonna just tell a little story about it. He is the class president of Riverdale High School, along with Star Student, and he is, yes. He will be attending the University of Georgia. I'm already claiming for him that he's going to be a successful attorney. Now, they were having a little problem over at Riverdale, and that's in regards to these caps and gowns. So, you know, I have all these little people that when I drive through Chick-fil-A, they tell me about what's going on in their schools. With him being the class president, I mentioned it to him. He said, Ms. Gorey, don't even worry about it. I got it. He said, he said, I'm gonna have a talk with the principal. I have come on, give me the word. I'm having a senior moment. Remember you all had you signed up, what was it? Your petition, I can't even think. He had a petition and everything. Went in and had a conversation with the principal, and guess what? Tell him, Adrian, what are they gonna be able to do?
Change the rule. So, and we're currently looking at, however, getting them to be a little looser right now. So, but we're making progress.
They wanted to decorate their caps, and these principals seem to have a little resistance, but he handled it very diplomatically. So I'm just so proud of him, and I was proud of the fact that he chose to ride in the car instead of getting on the big cheese. He liked being with me, although he did ditch me a couple of times. But we had a great time, so I just wanted to recognize that. And thank you, Adrian. And Ms. Tellis Cooper mentioned the superintendent's tour, but Ms. Williams and I already know which one was the best, and that was at Drew High School. Thank you. That's right.
Platform is all yours, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. Good evening again, stakeholders. As we near the end of phase 2 of my 90-day plan, I am excited to share the progress we've made to build a more coherent school system, one that better serves our students, staff, families, and community. Our focus has been on making decision-making clearer, strengthening organization across the district, and addressing challenges at the system level rather than in isolation. We've launched several cross-functional teams that include district and school-level staff and community members to actively address challenges identified during my first 60 days in our recent listening tour. This work is helping us stay aligned, operate more effectively, and keep teaching and learning at the center of everything we do. During our board member-hosted listening tours, I shared our vision for moving the system forward, emphasizing that achieving it will require all of us working together and moving in the same direction. Oneness, togetherness. I am grateful to every stakeholder who attended, shared feedback, asked thoughtful questions, and offered recommendations. For those who would like to review the 90-day plan, please visit the Clayton County Public Schools website. We plan to continue our listening tours regularly to remain connected to the needs of our school system and community. In fact, we are hosting a listening session at our International Center in April to support families who directly benefit from the language services offered there. As part of my 60-day update, I'm excited to launch an initiative that brings our district's literacy focus to life and reinforces our belief that literacy must live everywhere our students are. The series entitled Books and will feature a diverse group of stakeholders engaged in read-aloud experiences for our students and families. Through the effort, we aim to foster a love of reading while strengthening students' oral language skills and expanding their vocabulary. The first segment begins with our board members and will expand to voices across this community. Each read aloud will include a community connection activity to bring families into the learning experience. As a special preview, I am proud to highlight our first read aloud featuring board member Ms. Jasmine Bowles, District 1. Let's take a look.
Here in Clayton County Public Schools, we believe in something powerful. Literacy isn't just something we learn, it's something we live.
It lives in our
It's something we live.
It lives in our classrooms, our homes, and throughout the community. Because when literacy is everywhere, it becomes a part of who we are.
It lives in me.
It lives in me. It lives in you.
That's what this is all about.
CCPS, where literacy lives. Reading helps us discover new ideas, new words, and new worlds. It helps us grow, imagine, and create our future.
And when our community reads with us, literacy doesn't just live, it grows.
That's why we're excited to introduce a new literacy series, Books and, where members of our schools, families, and community partners come together to showcase how literacy lives within Clayton County.
This series will begin with our board members, where they will share their love of reading through read-alouds that help bring our stories to life for our entire community.
Clayton County Public Schools is where literacy lives.
My name is Jasmine Bowles, and I am proud to represent District 1 on the Clayton County Board of Education. I am excited to be at Brown Elementary today reading Maybe Just Ask, written by author Katie Mazika. It was Maisie's first day at her new school. She'd put on her favorite scarf and her prettiest eye patch. She was ready. Last week, when Maisie and her parents visited the school, it had been quiet. Today, it was overflowing with kids who already knew each other. Maisie's stomach bubbled with nerves. Still, she was excited to make some new friends.
Thank you for tuning in to Books and, featuring our board members, a part of District's literacy theme, CCPS, where literacy lives.
Now it's your turn to keep the story going.
Scan the QR code to explore today's community connection activity and continue the learning at home with your family. We'd love to see how literacy lives with you. Share your photos and videos and tag us at CCPS News.
Together, we're showing the world that in Clayton County Public Schools,
Literacy lives everywhere.
Academics. I would like to thank all of our board members for their time and support of our first segment. Also, thank you to the divisions of communications and school leadership for bringing this vision to life. I encourage everyone to tune in for each full episode, which will be released tomorrow on all CCPS channels, including your YouTube page and CCPS website. A new Read Aloud video will be featured weekly. Literacy is the genesis of all learning, and this initiative represents another step in ensuring that every student in Clayton County Public Schools has access to rich, engaging, and purposeful reading experiences. Clayton County Public Schools is where literacy lives. As I close Phase 3, the final 30 days of our plan, we'll focus on putting our plans into action, closely monitoring our progress, and making these improvements part of how we operate every day. Thank you for your continued partnership in helping us to build a better tomorrow today. Thank you. And so with that being said, Mr. Chair and board members, I ask that Dr. Simpson come up for our convocation events update.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Hendricks, community at large. I'll be very, very brief in providing just some updates as to where we've been, where we are going with what we know as the arena at South Lake, formerly as the Convocation Center. A few foundational milestones, as certainly many of you have probably taken part in. We had the opportunity to establish the arena at South Lake as a very, very competitive and community-driven venue by hosting a statewide event, Georgia High School Association Wrestling Championship in February, our very, very first event. And the other events, as you will see, that I will not read all of them, but I wanted to highlight just a couple of them, starting with the first one and then our second event, which is the Team Georgia USA Wrestling. The reason I mentioned that as well, because that was directly in conjunction with the state championship wrestling, except for it was for youth. But most importantly, I'd like to add is the partner briefing, for those that may wonder what that is. It's important that we all understand, and this is with a relationship and collaboration with our president of the Chamber of Commerce, Clayton County, Valencia Williamson, that all entities involved in Clayton County, what we define and believe as an ecosystem. There were thousands of people that attended these events, thousands, 5,000, 6,000 at the wrestling event. The question is, what happened to those people when they were ready to eat? When they wanted to experience some fine dining? What was their lodging? What about entertainment? So we deemed it important that we pull all of these individuals and bring them to the table and have a conversation about the economic impact in our school district. Not only for our school district, but for the entire county. That we all, from tourism, from hospitality, and lodging, that they all understand that everyone has a stake in what this is going to look like, because ultimately, it's how this region is going to benefit financially, which ultimately positively impacts the school district. Could you share the next slide, please? Our spring is coming upon us, and then on Wednesday, we'll be having a grand open for Junior Achievement. We know that that is very much an integral part and one of our tenets. And for those who have not had the opportunity to visit the Junior Achievement Discovery Zone, the Dream Accelerator, Delta Dream Accelerator, please do so. We have, at this point, I know on a daily basis, typically 150 to 200 of our students there that are all taking part in a very, very enriching experience, and I like to call it an incubator, because these students are deeply engaged and involved in business practices, how to run a business, and all of what a business entails. And then on April 22nd, we'll hold our grand opening for the arena. We invite all out, and certainly you'll be getting some invitations. One exciting event that's going to be coming on May 1st is Floetry. We'll be hosting our first concert. Don't get too happy, because there is no discount on ticket prices. But that is one event certainly that we're looking forward to as the first concert event that we will be holding. And then Clayton State University is holding a graduation, and then we're excited for our first graduates to have the opportunity to graduate in the new arena. One of the things that I certainly want to come up, Kim, if you'll go to the last slide, thank you, strategic growth and opportunities. And I listed this as a pipeline for opportunities, obviously the summer athletic events. But we want to make certain that we really, really embed and emphasize that this is going to be a cultural and a community and festive events for this particular arena. We don't want to rule out by any stretch of the imagination, what this venue can do and be for us. And so we want to, in our pipeline, make certain that we market this place as something, and we're being told by many, many, many that have had the opportunity to come and visit, that this is truly a gem. And we'll reap the benefits of this from a financial aspect. But just the exposure, the experience that our children, that our staff members will have, we'll be able to, truly, truly benefit from this. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is this, and we talk about economic impact, and I'm going to ask Ms. Trice to come down forward, because the last slide is, I think, in reference to being ready for our commencement exercises. We talk about impact. Our children, on the date we hosted the SIAC championship, had an opportunity to experience being in the sports arena, many of them for the very first time. It was about 2,500, maybe 3,000 of our elementary children. We don't take for granted that that may have been their first time, but we don't anticipate that being their last, because they had an opportunity to see at a collegiate level people that look just like them participating in an athletic event. But it was so much energy, and as I shared this with colleagues, it was so much energy in the room, in the arena, that it left a lasting impression. We know that that same impression is going to, those children will walk away with knowing and feeling and believing that one day I want to be able to experience this on my own. To sit courtside at State Farm Arena, or Mercedes-Benz, or any particular arena. So it's just about as much exposure. So I don't want us to ever take for granted what this is and what it can be. So please, at any given moment, at any given time, make certain that you are just as intimately engaged and involved and supporting this venue, because when you support the arena at South Lake, you support the boys and girls of Clayton County School System and as our staff members as well. Ms. Trice.
Good evening, Chairman Straker, Vice Chairman Baker, members of the board, and our interim superintendent, Dr. Hendricks. I am so excited to announce that we are ready for graduation. So we're looking forward to, on May 19th through the 23rd, for our 13 high schools to come through and our students to graduate in the new arena at South Lake. I did share some information with you on the slide, but if you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Are there any questions, board members? Ms. Baker?
I see that we're going to be using the Morrow Center for staging. Now, I know everything's not where it's supposed to be at the time that we want it to be, but next year, will we be able to put all those kids in the arena? Because I mean, we can pick up chairs from downstairs where that one area is, and I hear there's a whole nother area. So I'm just wondering if that's what we're looking for next year, is to plan not to have to use the Morrow Center.
Well, what's important is that we want to make sure that we have the dignified ceremonies that we're used to having. And so that's what's most important at this point. So right now, yes, we are using the Morrow Center. We want to make sure that our schools have the opportunity to organize their students and get everything right. Once we see how it goes this year, maybe, possibly, we may not need that. Or we may have space inside the arena to do that. But right now, we want to make sure that we don't break that continuity of a dignified ceremony.
First, I'm going to get Sabrina Hill, and then I will catch the rest of the board members, all right? Sabrina, speak up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question in regards.
Can everybody hear her? All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I've had a couple of phone calls, and I had a twofold question. One was, who owns the Convocation Center, and what is the purpose of the Convocation Center?
I think if I heard those questions correct, who owns the Convocation Center?
Right. And
what's the purpose?
What was the second one, Ms. Hill? What was the purpose? What's the purpose of the convocation?
Great questions, Ms. Hill, thank you. The Clayton County Board of Education owns the Convocation Center. The Clayton County Board of Education school system owns the Convocation Center. The purpose of the Convocation Center, it started out, and just to give a little bit of history, as a conversation with previous board members, some current board members, previous superintendents. Because we were so, fed up with the cost of our commencement exercises at renting out another venue, it was decided that we can build our own and save some money. In doing so, and in that conversation, in order to build something, obviously will require an investment, but that conversation led to, why don't we just enterprise it? And so in that enterprising, we viewed it as an opportunity for us to not only hold our graduation ceremonies for a discounted price, but for any others that might want to use this venue. And that enterprise match maybe something similar to what the Performing Arts Center is. And so for the sole purpose of the graduation exercises, it started out. But obviously it morphed and grew into something that's going to be much, much more beneficial and fruitful from a financial perspective.
Ms. Hill, you good? Go ahead. Dr. Hendricks.
Can you repeat the question for
He-
everybody?
The,
before you
the
answer?
question was, with the Board of Education owning the facility, will our people have the opportunity to work there?
Absolutely. On this past Friday and Saturday, we hosted, the TRP, the Right Productions now, hosted a job fair. The majority of the positions that were available, which is about 300 in total, were part-time positions. It was available to the general public. We posted it on all of our media platforms, and so yes, there's an opportunity for school district employees to be employed there.
All right, I'm gonna start with you, Ms. Cooper.
That's good. So just piggybacking off of what Ms. Hill asked, because that was one of my questions, about how many people attended the job fair, do you know?
It was from 10 to 5 on Friday and Saturday. Roughly about 200, 250 people were in and out during that span of time.
Did anybody get hired like on the spot or?
Decisions weren't made on the spot, but there's follow-up that's taking place this week for those individuals that would be offered opportunities to work there.
Okay, so they hadn't hired anyone yet?
Not completely,
Okay.
not fully and completely.
Then, sorry, I think I'm talking loud.
I actually have those direct numbers.
Oh, you do?
Your total online applications submitted were 567. Total job fair registrations were 252. Total job fair attendees were 134. On Friday, you had 66. On Saturday, March 28, you had 68. Your online application submissions were 257. And the job fair was attended by 36. I actually met with TRP today, and they are working on their next job fairs, but those are the numbers from what we've had so far.
Well, that's perfect. Well, maybe either one, you or Dr. Hendricks, two more questions. So will we be able to receive like a list of vendors or restaurants that will go within the convocation center? That's number one. And then number two, is there any way that we can get like a written report? I know in the contract we said quarterly, but being that we're just starting, I think we had mentioned before, monthly updates as to what's going on. And what accounting firm are we using as far as with the financial part of it, with the convocation?
Well, they will be submitting financial records to us on the 15th of every month. I instructed them to direct those financials to Ms. Ramona Bivens and myself, so we'll receive those on the 15th of every month. In terms of accounting firm, I'm not sure that I understand that question. I don't know if there's an accounting firm involved, but we were involved in setting some KPIs and some metrics for TRP today because we wanted to make sure that we have a common understanding. So Dr. Colbert, Ms. Bivens, and myself met with them and had some conversations. Those financials will come to us on the 15th of every month. We received the first financials, and I'll be more than happy to share those with you offline.
And then the answer to with the vendors, we'll provide that list as well. They went through an RFP process to hire vendors or solicit vendors to submit, and those vendors have been secured.
Can I just add, Mr. Chair? I was in the room when Dr. Hendricks requested the employee participation provision that made its way into the contract, and TRP is following through that. So just wanted everyone to know that's why there is a program for that.
All right. Good deal. Dr. Haney? Nothing? 1 second, Ms. Hill. 1 second. Baker? Okay. Ms. Hill, what was that question?
I had a question.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let Ms. Hill go first because she's on Zoom. Then you will go, then Ms. Corey, you will go, then Mr. Christmas, you will go, and Jasmine, you will close us out. Go ahead, Ms. Hill.
We don't know.
So that she's asking if we can explain who TRP is, and I assume, Doc, you know, just their origin from Detroit and so forth, sir.
Sure. TRP is an acronym for the Right Production. They have, in the city of Detroit, operated and served as the promoters of an event center that seats about 4,000. It's an amphitheater. They have operated and promoted that particular event and venue for over 2 decades. They run a summer series that begins on Labor Day and concludes on Memorial Day. Just like everyone had the opportunity when we submitted the RFP for an operator, they did so. We went through the RFP process, and they were the ones who won the bid. To take it a step further, I deemed it important to, because of just somewhat of a lack of understanding, to visit them in Detroit and to have to spend time and see the day-to-day operations of how that actually would fit here at our venue and at the arena. Was even more confident once I had that opportunity to spend with them for 4 or 5 days. Not only was it informative, but I had an opportunity to speak with patrons who had been attending that venue for 10, 15 years. And so they were more than reputable, credible, and did an excellent job. And I saw them in their day-to-day work as they hosted concerts for those 3 or 4 days that I was there.
Good deal, Ms. Williams.
Thank you for acknowledging me. I had 2 questions I'm getting from the public is how many tickets are they going to be able to get from the schools, and will it be paid parking?
How many tickets will they be able to get from the schools?
Graduation. How many
Graduations.
will each student get, and how much will parking be?
Paid parking is free.
They want to know if they can get 15, 20, 30.
Well, it all depends on the school. So there is a maximum seating capacity, and then because of the setup that will be for graduation, all the seats will not be used behind the stage, for example. So the minimum number of tickets would be 11 for our larger high schools. That's the minimum, and that goes all the way up to, for our smallest high schools, probably at least 20. So it just depends. And that was the same as when it was at the International Convention Centers. It was the same process. So they won't get any less than what they've gotten before unless their classes are so much larger that they can't.
What about parking?
Parking is free.
Parking is free.
Yes.
Ms. Williams, any other questions?
No, that was it.
Ms. Corey?
Thank you. All right, both of you all might be able to answer this. Since we are talking about not using the back, I guess we're not using the back seats. So with, how many seats then are available? Because aren't we also putting chairs on the floor, which kind of makes up for the graduates? How many chairs are we putting chairs for the, just describe how it's gonna look. Will they be like on risers facing the audience or what?
So our graduates will be on the floor, and then we will have seating on the floor for our handicapped patrons. So we have some seating there for that purpose. Everyone else will be in the riser area, so risers or up top or anywhere else. So it'll be a little over 6,000 seats.
Okay, so are the risers facing the audience? Are they facing the audience like they've always been?
No risers on the stage. So the graduates will be on the floor. Graduates will be seated on the floor. I meant for the people attending the graduation will be in the rest of the arena.
My question though, will the graduates face the audience as they've been doing? So they're gonna have their backs to us?
They'll be facing the stage, yes.
Okay, all right, because it's kind of, better when they're facing us. Okay, now back to the question that Ms. Baker asked regarding the use of the Morrow Center. What the cost, I think I received the answer. What is the cost for that?
It's $2,000 for all 4 days.
For all of them?
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned maybe next year. So have you all not thought about using the area upstairs for, to have all the students together? I know you're saying they're gonna come out and then they'll come out through the Career Center to get diplomas, but there is also space upstairs.
Well, the spaces are a little bit too small for our larger ceremonies, and so we want to be consistent with all of them. And just spaces just would not allow our students to really get organized in the area. So the students could stand in the area, they could fit, but getting organized in the area, that wouldn't work for the schools. And so at least for this first one, we want to make sure that we give them that opportunity to truly do it the right way. And as we go through the process, if we need to change things or we see that this, wasn't necessary, we could have done something else, then we may change that in the future, but right now,
Okay.
it's not enough space.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Christmas? Nothing? Ms. Bowles? Nothing? Okay.
I want to follow back up. Ms. Tiller Scoopy asked about the accounting firm, and I just wanted to say that the firm that, we wouldn't know that information unless you're just trying to get the information, but the company, they'll be using their own resources, and then as the superintendent said, they will be, sharing that information with us, but we're not like requiring them to use a certain firm because, but we do want to know about the finances. That's a given.
And we are in real time going to be able to see what's going on. So that was a request that we made as well in the initial agreement.
Okay, thank you. And also, just one last thing. Dr. Hendricks or Dr. Simpson, will you be able to tell us what the summer series lineup is too? Can you send that to us? Or do you already know?
What's confirmed, yes, ma'am.
You do know?
I said what's confirmed, but we'll send to you.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson. Next up, we'll have a transportation update from Ms. Denise Hall.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members, interim superintendent, Dr. Hendricks, colleagues, and community. We provided updates in reference to some of the incidents that have occurred on the buses, and we did them specific to transportation locations. So as you can see, the number of fights and driver and monitor assaults on the bus, bullying, harassment, major disruptions, or some serious misconduct that required us to submit a BSR for some administrative consequences, and then any student injuries or distress that was on the bus. Do you have any questions for me in reference to this data?
Any questions in reference to that document?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
When a student is fighting on the bus, are they suspended just from the bus or from the school and the bus?
They typically are suspended off of the bus. Sometimes, depending on the egregious nature of the situation, they could be suspended from school.
We will be bringing a level of consistency to that for next year with our discipline matrix that we will at some point in time have some conversations with you about. Having that matrix brings a level of fairness and equity to our students, but it also helps our administrators to have a coherent way of being able to administer discipline that the system can stand by. So we will be administering that in the year to come. That was a great question. Thank you.
I do have something. I want to follow up on that. So a kid get to fight on the bus. You suspend him from the bus, but you don't suspend him from the school. Is not the bus an extension of the school?
I think what she was explaining is it's a variation of ways, which is the need for coherence and the need for the matrix that I'm talking about. It may happen various ways. Sometimes it happens various ways because you may have a student with disabilities and they don't have any days that you can suspend them from school. So prior to now, it has been a little bit inconsistent. Going forward, it will be very consistent, and we'll be able to show you how.
Once again, maybe I'm confused. You get in the fight. You're suspended from the bus, and you're not suspended from school.
Sometime.
Is not the bus extension of the school?
Absolutely, and so is the bus stop. And so that varies. Without that data in front of me, I wouldn't be able to tell you with any specifics, but I could tell you that it varies more than it will in the near future.
All right.
Ms. Baker.
Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi. We never want to see any numbers there. But that's not reality.
Correct.
So to give an idea of what reality is, can you give us an idea of how many kids you transport every day or week so that we can get an idea of how few this is compared to the amount of children you move?
Total, we transport 48,000.
48,000?
Daily. We do over 28,000 miles a day.
28,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Gosh.
We have 346 routes. The majority of them have 3 to 4 tiers. So we do elementary. In some cases, like our garden walk facility has A and B loads, so that population is a little bit higher. So they have double elementary loads, a high school and a middle school load.
Great job, man.
Ms. Hall, you said, just what I was about to ask about the demographics over here. You're saying that Garden Walk, you said that that is a high percentage, you have A and B.
Yes, ma'am.
My concern, do we have enough staff to cover that?
So we are fully staffed. What we contend with is pretty much absenteeism or FMLA. Right now, I only have like maybe 6 open routes where there's not a dedicated driver on a route.
Okay. Now, this may be going into something else, but I asked for this report. Now, the reason I asked is because I haven't had an update, and it's just me. I know that when we got back from COVID, I was over at Monday's meal, and the guys, your team over there explained. I would like for you to explain to me, so in the public, the morning routine and the afternoon routine of your drivers. Okay, so just say I'm a bus driver. I'm about to get ready, do my thing. I'm clocking in and all that. So now I'm about to walk up on this bus, and I'm about to get ready to start my day to pick up the cargo, precious cargo. What are the safety standards or safety protocols that your team does when they get on that bus? What is the first thing that they're doing?
So
just walk us through that.
What they typically do is a pre-trip in the morning, so they have to let their engines down, check to make sure that they have all of their fluids. They thump their tires. They walk around the extremity of the bus. They walk the bus to check for suspicious packages or anything that's left on the bus. They initiate 8 ways, make sure that all of the lights and things are working on the bus before they depart.
Okay, on the inside of the bus, for the safety part of the bus,
There's
now,
a child care reminder in the back of the bus. So
Okay.
once they initiate the 8 ways on the bus, the only way that they could cut the alarm off is to go back and to deactivate the child care reminder system.
Okay, that was my concern, because we've had these incidents, and your team has handled it. I was just concerned because we don't want the precious cargo staying on the bus. I know they go to sleep, but I just want to know, because I have had concerns from my constituents saying why, and it got on the news, why this child why this child on the bus still, why is this child in the wrong route? I mean, it's just those things, and I know things happen, and I know that you have it under control, but I was just trying to see, just to get an idea of what the process is from that point. While that child is on that bus, if that child should get on the wrong bus, why that child is walking and should have been on the bus, why the child missed, where is that? It's like a gap that was there. I don't know if from the school part, transportation part. I just want to try to make sure that the public is well aware that we have taken care of it, but at the same time, we're going to own what we've done, but at the same time, we know that we rectified it and that we're moving forward in a different space with that. That's all I need.
So for us, before they depart each school that they're providing coverage for, they're supposed to get up and walk the bus after they've offloaded all of their students. Failure to do so results in administrative consequences. And so it's supposed to be after every route, and once they get back on the yard, they should do a post-trip. And the post-trip is what they did that morning in reverse and checking everything before they get off the bus. And I can assure you, if any babies left on the bus, there are consequences.
Okay, that's what I needed. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, I just want to thank you for the help that you're going to provide me on tomorrow.
You know I got you, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hall. Our next update will be from Dr. Chief Walker, Safety and Security.
I'm sorry. I thought she was going to go through the technology part of it. So I did have a question as far as with the technology when we were reading the tracking devices that we have on the bus.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
kind of watching the news this weekend, and our neighboring counties had like the tracking devices where the parents could track where the buses were at. With this tracking device, is it just for your administration, or can parents actually track
parents and students can actually track.
Okay.
So on DES, because those are our precious kids and we do door-to-door service,
Right.
we don't allow the parents' address information to be public. They can track the bus, but not necessarily the student.
Okay.
On the Reg Ed side, it's different. So you can track the progress of the bus. Students use the app, parents use the app. Right now, while we transport 48,000, we only have about 17,000 people that are using the app now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Can you repeat the question?
Are we fully staffed in transportation? We are fully staffed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are. She said she greatly appreciates you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your amazing work. With that being said, Dr. Chief Walker, and safety and security update. Thank you again, Ms. Hall.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members, Interim Superintendent Dr. Hendricks, colleagues, and community members. You have received the executive summaries regarding safety and security stats. At this particular time, however, I'm going to give a brief overview of what happened the first semester of the school year, and we're going to start with fights. Clayton County Public Schools Department of Safety and Security documented this past school year over the first 6 months, July through December, total of 161 fights. As opposed to last year, that's an increase of 11%, where we only had 145. All of those incidents don't necessarily result in charges. Those just documented incidents that we felt important that safety and security documents. Moving on, we're going to go to weapons. Over the first course of the first semester, this past school year, or this current school year, we've had an increase in weapons on school grounds. We had 16 total weapons on school grounds the first semester of this school year, as opposed to 10 last school year. Now, a brief breakdown of the weapons located on school grounds, I could tell you that we had a total of 2 guns on school grounds. One of the incidents involved the school district, and one incident did not involve the school district. The incident that did not involve the school district was an incident that occurred in the city of Jonesboro, across the street, and it came onto school property. That incident had nothing to do with the school system, and it occurred on the Sunday. However, with the school district being our jurisdiction, we had to document and investigate that particular incident. The other incident, a student was subsequently arrested and taken or transported to jail for a weapon possession on school grounds. That was 2 guns out of the 16 weapons. There were 2 tasers, and then we had 12 knives or pocket knives on school grounds. The majority of those particular individuals were middle school and elementary school students who brought kitchen knives to school. Some of our proactive initiatives I wanted to make sure that I point out that we're doing as it relates to safety and security is making sure that we increase safety and security, random safety and security checks. And basically what they're doing is that's increased safety and security personnel conducting random weapons checks on school grounds. We also do safety walkthroughs. That's when the emergency preparedness department does walkthroughs, on-site walkthroughs with school administrators to discuss safety issues. We also have an initiative called Stop the Prop. Stop the Prop is a safety initiative to reduce exterior doors from being propped open and increase monitoring of school doors. We also had a training of collaborative family reunification exercises where multiple school administrators as well as other district office personnel attended training to prepare them in the event that we had to evacuate or reunify students and update them on the process. Another thing that I think is very important that we do too is I just want to make sure I acknowledge the Department of Safety and Security. Our Department of Safety and Security has done an outstanding job at supporting the district in the district's primary initiative and primary stakeholder, which are the students and staff. Our safety and security has had a really good first part of the school year in which we covered all the athletic events, football and basketball, without much of an incident. We also covered away football trips. But more importantly, the Department of Safety and Security has assisted the school district in escorting students as well as staff and other personnel to not only New York City, but to Hawaii as well. We've also escorted bands to New Orleans and London. So I wanted to make sure we acknowledge the Department of Safety and Security and our personnel for doing an outstanding job. And with that being said, are there any questions?
Chief Walker, you just reminded me of something. I just had you on my town hall, and I didn't acknowledge the staff that made the town hall successful. So I definitely want to show my appreciation to Ms. Trice, Ronick Joseph, Chief Walker, Dr. Colbert, and Dr. Hendricks for joining that tremendously successful town hall. And the reason why I just thought of it is because you said on the town hall that you were going to be giving us the same information.
Yes,
so
sir.
our community had it first, and also the numerous amount of principals that got on the town hall and showed off their schools. So I'm grateful for everybody that participated. I apologize for that, board members. It just came to my head.
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Williams.
Give me an example of what y'all did for the Stop the Prop campaign.
One quick second, Mr. Thompson. The Stop the Prop campaign was led by our Department of Emergency Preparedness and Management, and Mr. Thompson led that initiative.
Good evening. A year and a half ago, we recognized that we needed to kind of reinforce our exterior door protocol policy as a part of our building security protocols. One of the things we thought we would do is establish a decal to put on the interior of the doors to remind students, staff, anybody coming in and out of that building that this is a stop the prop zone. So it's a simple, low investment tool that we use to kind of remind everybody how important it is for exterior doors at not only our schools but our facilities to not leave those doors propped, because that is typically, in a lot of these cases, how intruders are entering our properties.
I saw that at Jonesboro High School.
Yes, you'll see it like a red stop sign, which stop the prop.
Yeah.
And they're in all of our schools.
That's a great initiative.
Are we informing the students that that's gonna be like something if they open the door, let somebody in, that they can get suspended or anything like that?
We try to enforce those policies, and there are consequences for students and staff violating those protocols.
Okay, thank you.
I want to just tell you thank you so much for that, because oftentimes when I go into buildings, it's actually not the students that are doing it. Some of our adults keep the doors propped open, and that is why those children lost their lives in New Mexico, because of a propped open door. So it's greatly appreciated. It's much like when we had COVID and we had the dots on the floor for spacing and all that type of stuff. So I'm glad for that initiative.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hill wants to know if all of our metal detectors are functioning.
For the most part, all of our weapon detection devices are functional. If we do hear about any problem, then feel free to contact Safety and Security. We have 2 members on staff that is prepared to come out and fix or repair any device that they may find problems with. We've had several situations where we have had problems with those devices, and we've been openly encouraging schools to tell their janitorial staff as well as other individuals, please do not touch the devices. That's where we're getting the majority of our problems from when they're trying to operate the device the following morning.
Good deal. Any other questions,
Mr.
board
Chair,
members?
Chief, when you started sending us off with, for the most part,
1 second, Ms. Hill. Go ahead.
that insinuate that everything ain't working.
No, there was no insinuating that everything is not working.
But
Everything.
you said for the most part.
Currently, as up to date, as of now, all of our devices are operational.
All right,
If
thank
there is a device that is not operational, I'm letting the public as well as the school know to contact the Department of Safety and Security, and we will get there and repair that device immediately.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Hill, what was that last question?
So the question basically that Ms. Hill is asking first is, are all of our devices working? The answer is yes, according to what our chief just said. Then she's also asking, why do some vapes get into the school while others do not? I'm sure it has to do with their makeup, but I'll let you answer that, sir, based on your expertise.
Definitely. It definitely has to deal with the makeup of the device. When we do conduct our random safety checks, we do find a lot of confiscate a lot of vape pens. Excuse me. We're also currently running a test system at several schools within the district that can detect vape devices when students are actually vaping. We have not moved forward with that because we're still working on the logistics of how to move forward with the vape detection devices. However, the makeup of a lot of vape devices are not catching it in the system because it's not designed to catch vapes, being that they're not necessarily considered weapons.
May I also add this, that our detection devices are not a panacea, that there are things that will get past them. But what I would like for us to collectively do and understand, in line with the conversations that we have with the community, is make sure that parents are helping us on their end by checking their children's social media, by shaking their book bag, by going in their room, by looking and seeing if they have these devices. If they have a vape, they're smoking, and they're children, and smoking and children don't go together. And then thirdly, the schools can do so much.
Right.
If my children have vapes, they're in trouble as soon as I get home from this meeting. And I would hope that every parent takes that same position and that we partner. Don't come to the school and be mad with us because we took up a vape and want it back. We want you to help us out. And this is not preaching to you. This is asking you to be a partner. This is that circle I drew on the tours. Thank you.
I'd like to also follow up with what the superintendent just said. I was at the school council meeting at North Clayton Middle School, and that was one of the issues that they brought up about vaping. I don't know why I was thinking that when it came into the building that our detective devices could pick it up. I don't know why I was thinking it was like on a clip or something. But then when I was shown what they look like, as Dr. Hendricks says, our parents need to work on not allowing those to come into the building because we're having a problem. And I also want to thank you, want to mention something in regards to all of our children, in that I want all of our students to be covered by safety and security, and charter schools ignored. Because if something happens at one of our charter schools, and we seem to have a department that is telling us to exclude the charter schools, that's going to be a problem. Because if something happens to them, nobody is going to say, oh, well, you know, they were a part of the charter school. Those students are a part of Clayton County Public Schools, and we're responsible for every child that is under our jurisdiction. So I hope that that practice will stop.
Chief Walker, do we man the charter schools also with safety and security?
We do man the charter schools, and there have been individuals covering the charter schools. However, due to attrition and several resignations, the charter schools, those particular individuals who were working the charter schools are no longer with us. So we are attempting to hire personnel to cover those particular locations. As a matter of fact, we have one security personnel that should be finished training by the end of this week, and that person will be assigned to Utopian as soon as that person finishes their training this week.
Thank you.
That remark is not meant for Chief Walker. He has been doing what he needed to do. A directive has been given that charters are excluded. And that's to this is to that department.
Well, I didn't give that directive, and so I don't see it as a directive if someone said that. But what I would say is this, and I hope we can all be together in this vein, that I will look into whether or not we have officers at charter schools, but I'll also look into the rules around charter schools to see what's going on, because I want to have a 360 understanding, and maybe that's something I can get back personally with the board on after I do a little research. So let's stay together on it.
I appreciate that, because they were excluded on Thursday.
I'm good, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So with that being said, we are now on our proposed agenda, and I would ask that Ms. Ramona Bivens come up to give us our business services financial report, our budget amendments, and any other information around our budget.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members. Thank you. The down button? Okay. Interim Superintendent Dr. Douglas Hendricks, Sr., colleagues, and community. This monthly financial report is a general fund budget comparison as of February 28th. And we've collected 60.6% of our budgeted revenue of $440.3 million. Of that, almost 78% of that is our local taxes, our tax revenue, and we've collected over 50% of our state revenue and 66% of our federal revenue. On the expenditure side, we're 8 months into the fiscal year, over halfway through the fiscal year. We've expended 55.7% of our budgeted expenditures, or $404.8 million. I'll entertain any questions on the monthly financial report.
Any questions? Seeing none?
Okay. What's next? The SPLOST revenue report. For February, what we actually collected the money in January. We're on a 1-month lag. So we received it in February. It was $6,172,549. Compared to last year at the same time, it was $5.3 million. And we're still on average collecting about $6.1 million a month on our SPLOST revenue. Any questions on the SPLOST revenue?
I'm gonna go back, and I'm sorry. When I was looking over the charter school report, I have some questions in regards to their fund balance. Is it possible, I know you don't have that, or I'm assuming you don't have that information, would it be possible to get an updated report on what their plan to I don't want to say correct, but to improve their fund balance?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, we're having a charter school, is it a charter school review? Is that what it's called? Okay. Site visit tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I will be over there tomorrow to meet with them to discuss their finances, what the expectations are, and what plan they have to do that.
Because I would really appreciate if they could come and, once they have it, to explain it to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Seeing none?
Okay. And we have the purchasing report. Hold on, get back there. So on the purchasing report, you have 3 reports. Report A is consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more. We have report B non-consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more, but less than $100,000. And then you report C are the non-consumable items with a value of $100,000 or more that require board approval. And that's included in your executive summary. We can answer any questions you have on that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This was really for the chief, but maybe you can address it too. I see that the chief of safety and security was asking for funding for the metal detectors.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question is, and this is gonna be for the elementary schools.
Yes.
Okay, will that be enough funding to cover that, for those elementary schools, considering chief?
Chief?
I can tell you that
Okay.
that money is from a grant, and I'm
Okay.
sure Chief will go forward with that, but that is also to get ahead of state legislation that was possibly coming out. And so what we wanted to do is buy them before they got expensive after legislation. But Chief,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right.
That's exactly right, Dr. Hendricks. What we're trying to be, we're trying to get ahead of House Bill 1023. That is the House bill that's recommended that all public schools have weapon detection devices. And as he said, that we're using a combination of 2 different grants to cover the cost of these devices. And that amount should cover the first year of all of those devices. And so what we're, again, trying to do is get ahead of the cost, just in case the price skyrocket once they vote on this bill next week.
Okay, my follow-up with that is, when would they be in the schools? When would they start getting placed in the schools?
If we can get ahead of this and we can get the order, then most of the time the order is fulfilled within 30 to 45 days after the PO is initiated.
And since this is new for the elementary school staff, principals, et cetera, will they receive some type of training on what to look for? I mean, because I know it's self-explanatory for us to look at a screen or whatever, but the reason I'm asking is because I've had an incident that Dr. Hopkins, thank you, took care of regarding elementary schools, saying that a quote-unquote weapon was inside the school, which was not, but in the event, you know what I'm saying? I just want to, because the principal was not aware of it, I just want to make sure that everybody's trained enough to know what to look for. And just as what Dr. Hendricks stated, that we have to do this as a collaborative effort from parents, guardians, et cetera. But at the same time, when they touch foot on our property, you know, that's our responsibility. I just want to make sure everybody's adequately trained when they get implemented.
Yes, ma'am, everyone will be adequately trained. We do have staff on our people who work with the Department of Safety and Security that can train. And what I'd like to do is at any point in time, at the conclusion of this meeting, if you want to see it, there is a weapon detection device right out front. It's a real simple device to operate. It gives you a red box that shows you where the weapon is, and all the security personnel and the individual working the device goes straight to a body part where the red box shows. If you have 3 weapons on 3 different parts of your body, it will have 3 different boxes. And depending on however many weapons you have, that's the number of boxes that will show up on that individual. So it's real easy and simple to operate.
Thank you, Ms. Bivens. Thank you. That was my question.
Just a question, since they're legislating this, will we be able to receive enough money to pay for it fully, or will we be looking at, I know you said grants and stuff, but will the state also be contributing to these?
Right now, there is nothing in the plan. I think the state said use the money that was already given. We've been diligent about our spending thus far, so we haven't spent the funds, which gives us enough to cover purchasing these devices.
Thank you.
Are these devices covered under SPLOST?
No,
No.
the devices do not come out of SPLOST. It comes out of state-funded grants.
Okay, I had a question.
We can purchase.
Will we be able, for elementary school, are we gonna be making sure they use them every day, like all the high school, middle schools? Everybody use the metal detectors every single day? Will elementary schools be doing the same?
I think so. They should be doing the same. I would hope that they would. As Dr. Hendricks always say, coherence. I think that that's going to be very important, that everyone is doing the same thing daily.
Anything else, board members? Seeing none, you can move on.
Okay, that's all. I have budget amendments next. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first budget amendment is to accept donations received from the Clayton County Public Schools Foundation in the amount of $17,781. And they're providing funding to support the Jonesboro mock trial, Georgia Science and Engineering Fair, International Science and Engineering Fair, Elementary Social Studies Quiz Bowl, and meals provided for the Budget Advisory Committee meetings that we have. The next one is an amendment to establish the budget for the GOLD grant. That's for Georgia Outdoor Learning Demonstration in the amount of $4,910. The next one is an amendment to recognize donations received from Mesa Construction, Denmark Ashby LLC, Clayton County Chamber of Commerce, and Atlanta Aerotropolis Alliance Incorporated for a total of $7,500. These donations were provided to cover vendor costs associated with the retirement celebration for the former superintendent. The next budget amendment is to establish the original budget for the school security grant from the state of Georgia in the amount of $1,471,180. These funds will be allocated to purchase the metal detection devices for the elementary schools within the district that we just mentioned. The next amendment is to accept the grant funding for 3 student advocacy specialist positions from the Georgia Department of Education in the amount of $80,663. The next budget amendment is to recognize revenue received from the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency in the amount of $54,000, and this is from the 2023 State and Local Cybersecurity Grant that was awarded to strengthen security postures against cyber threats for state and local governments. And that's it.
Any questions for the budget amendments? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Bivens.
Oh, thank you.
Next, we'll have Mr. Joseph with our capital improvements report.
Good evening once again. The Construction Department has submitted 4 reports for your consideration. The first being the SPLOS update. For the month of March, 9 payments totaling $14.7 million for ongoing projects, and there were no change orders executed for this period. Additionally, you received the capital purchase report for items over below $250,000 for your submitted for your information. The third report is RFP 26-03 for the new Fountain Elementary and Unidos Elementary School. The recommendation from the superintendent is to award the project to the Winter Construction Company for the amount of $77,586,830. And then the last report is the local facility plan resolution, which enables the Clayton County school system to be eligible for approximately $6 million in state funds for capital purchases. At this
Mr.
time,
Joseph.
I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Quick question. You answered my question on email today, but I wanted to see if I could get further clarification. In regards to the selection that we made, I could clearly see why one of them weren't competitive. It looks like the other 4 were super competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though they all sat in the same range of criteria also when it came to being a small business, a local business, and the other variables. My question to you, though, is why would we pay $3 million more for one of the contractors that is already doing work in our district and giving us a lower price than the one that we've selected?
Yes, sir. I understand the question fully. The board has asked us to consider different delivery methods where price is not the sole factor. Historically, we have used a low bid model, which awards the project to the lowest bidder. The board asked that we factor in other factors, for example, quality of work, timeliness of work, and so the we hear you, the board, so therefore the solicitation was a RFP based off those metrics.
Right. The only issue that I have, and I'll move on, is that I want to be super careful when we talk about the timeliness of a job. I don't think it's fair to the construction company if we're going in and out of their job site and then calling it, and then blaming them for being late on that time. You know, a lot of things go behind the scenes. I'm sure that you know that. We had a superintendent that was giving us unrealistic, you know, deadline dates. And when those deadline dates weren't coming up, we were definitely blaming the contractor for not coming through. That convocation center should have never even been close to open until May or June. And we've been in and out of it. Dr. Simpson just gave us a whole list of different events that happened while they're doing construction. So if they're getting dinged by being a construction company that's late on the deadlines and they're giving me $3 million, why wouldn't we have taken that into consideration?
Yeah, we do take that into consideration. Myself and my team are very considerate when it comes to the unforeseen variables that take place on a job site. For example, when we encounter unsuitable soils, inclement weather, each one of these factors are taken into consideration in terms of time extension.
Right.
And so we are more than generous and gracious when it comes to time extensions. In all candor, not delivering a school on time, Forest Park Middle School, crossed a threshold that, in my mind, is unacceptable.
All right, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Any other
I have
questions?
something to say. I'm thankful that we went with somebody else, quite thankful because Jonesboro is still dealing with issues. Forest Park is still dealing with issues. Riverdale still have issues. And the same contractor done those schools. And so I don't mind paying for more for good work, because when you pay more for good work, you don't have to go back in with our people and do the job ourselves. We got change orders that ain't never been changed. And so I'm thankful because we can't keep working our employees and our maintenance department fixing stuff that these contractors left us high and dry with. And so anytime this particular contractor that we're referring to comes up, I'm going to always vote no.
Ms. Baker.
Okay, since Fountain has historic meaning, is there any parts of that school that we will be saving, whether it be bricks or something that we can use to honor it in the new building?
Yes, ma'am. Bricks specifically, as well as some other monuments throughout the site that we'll relocate and reuse part of this project.
All right, any other questions?
I have a comment. In regards to the Convocation Center and us having to use it, we had to go into it because contractually we had made, we were under contract. And I'm gonna still thank you, Mr. Joseph, because a lot of the equipment that we needed was delayed because of tariffs, some of the things overseas, and, excuse me, our school district didn't help with the matter because as I recall, it was a concerted effort even after we informed everyone that we shouldn't use the Convocation Center for a retirement event. A decision was made to still go over there despite the fact that we already knew it. And then even then, after we did the retirement at the Morrow Center, people still went into the building. And Mr. Joseph, you have been so patient because, you know, I've told you over and over again that you just need to go over there and lock the doors and don't let anybody in there until it gets finished. So we should also blame ourselves as well because we shouldn't have been in the building in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you
Any
so
other
much.
questions? Seeing none?
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have our Human Resources report by Ms. Alicia Albritton.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Dr. Hendricks, colleagues, and community members. The Personnel Changes Report summarizes all personnel transactions for the period of February 10th through March 16th, 2026. Human Resources updates were submitted to the Board of Education for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Tellis Cooper.
Good afternoon, Ms. Albright.
Good afternoon.
Can you just update us? I know that we had the 3-on-3s, but I don't think the public knows. I know you mentioned a couple of job fairs that are coming up because I know in my group we were asking the question about the number of vacancies with the special education and the elementary education. And can you just update us a little bit about the job fairs?
Oh, absolutely. So on Saturday, March 21st, the district hosted its first job fair for the hiring season for next school year. There were over 350 job seekers that attended, and we continue to get hiring recommendations from our school leaders each day. And those are being processed well under our service level agreement. Our next hiring event is on Tuesday, April 21st. At that hiring event, our school leaders will be sourcing for all of their vacancies. In addition, portions of our big 3 departments will also be there. We'll be able to secure bus monitors, bus drivers, custodians are hired at the school site, and a couple of other departments will also join us.
Thank you.
Good deal. Any other questions for Human Resources? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Albritton.
I think it's back to you, sir.
Okay. We're now on board matters. First item on board matters is Policy Series J. This is the second read, and we will vote on this policy on April 13th. I think that Dr. Goree sent in some changes, some suggested changes for J.
Yes, I did. Is Ms. Garrett here? I had a couple of questions. She answered them. I just wanted to go back. With policy JCEB, well, it'll be like for us to look at. The current policy, you responded, which is exactly what it says about the policy provides that parents be notified of suspensions as soon as possible, but we seem to have, it was like a 2-day, we were saying within 2 days, and I think what I was trying to get to understand is why wouldn't a parent be notified like right away? And and I'm thinking maybe you were referencing a long-term suspension, but what I hear a lot from parents is that their children get suspended from school, but they don't get any notification. Let's just say we suspend them for 2 days, but they haven't received anything in writing that they're suspended. According to our policy, we're saying that we have 2 days to notify them in writing. Now, is that the 2 days for the long-term suspension?
Good evening. I'm sorry. Chair Straker, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Hendricks, and the community at large. So I am going to actually take a stab at the conversation I had with our student discipline team. So, and then they can feel free to join me. So the 2 days in writing, they endeavor to do the 2 days in writing, but what was stated, and the school leadership team can actually supplement it, is that they may make they may make a call to a parent, but the parent is made aware. But sometimes, depending on the situation, and so Mr. Blocker Dr. Blocker gave a great example, and so depending on the situation, you may have maybe a group fight, and so they may make calls, but then during that time to let the parents know that the students are being suspended, but in all cases they'll put the documentation perhaps in the mail or the email to actually provide them that information in writing. But parents are advised as soon as possible of the suspension. But you are correct that there may be some instances where the actual written documentation may not come, but parents are advised, even if it's via call, via an email, some type of notification that the student is suspended.
Okay, yeah, but all I'm saying is, I'm not really necessarily worrying about whether it's written or not. I'm just saying, is there some way that we could have it in our policy that the parent is notified? Because I feel, if they're called and at least the parent knows that the child is suspended, I get parents saying they don't know anything. And, we don't, we try to have a paper trail, I understand, but if we could just at least document it, like right away, hey, your child is fighting today and they're getting suspended, was,
Absolutely.
Right,
And we
so-
can clarify that. It says that parents are notified, but put in writing, but we'll clarify that just to make sure. And so I did speak with Dr. Igbuna and Dr. Blocker as well, and so we will work on language and put that in there and have it for next week's vote.
Okay, and then the other thing that I wanted to get some clarification on is JBC-R1, the regulation about the age eligibility. And so was just trying to make sure, I was trying to understand, why does the current policy say that they have to have lived somewhere for 2 years? It used to be that if a child, let's say they're in New York, we have a lot of people that come to New York, and the law is that, to go to kindergarten, that they must be 5 by December 31st. So I think in our policy, we're saying they need to have lived there for 2 years, but let's say they haven't lived there for 2 years, but they've lived in New York, their children have been in school in New York, and then they come to Georgia, but they're not 5 yet. So then if we're sticking with this 2-year rule, that's a problem, because they've already been enrolled in a district, and the age, they have until the 31st. I'm just trying to understand why we're saying 2 years.
Okay, so I actually spoke with Dr. Dunn this morning, and so the controlling age, what controls in the policy is the age, and so it does follow the state board rule as well as the state law, which really speaks to the 5 years by September 1st, or either in first grade they are 6 by December 31st. So we went back and looked at that language, and so that's actually what Dr. Dunn was sending. And so if there is some confusion, she's actually indicating that from a clarification standpoint, that they are not actually, it's not the 2 years, it's the age that is controlling. And so we'll look back at that, Dr. Dunn, we'll look back at that. You can, and so because it's the age, and so it's not that they have to, if they meet the age requirement, then they're not required, we're not requiring them to have an additional 2 years.
Okay, so we can, so that's what I'm saying,
Yes.
Can we just take that out, or what?
I believe, Ms. Corey, that's based on a specific state law in our policy
So
track.
it
Yes,
is now
ma'am.
2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
It's 2 years.
Oh, well, he's saying that,
okay.
but that still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's what the state of Georgia requires. So we are in alignment with exactly what the state board rule says. So that's for 5-year-olds and for 6-year-olds. So they have to have lived consecutively, like in the state of New York, for 2 years in order for that rule to apply, that they turn 6 by age by December the 31st.
Okay, I get that, but this is what I'm asking. So if I just lived in New York, and I didn't live there for 2 years, but I've already put my child in kindergarten there, they've been in kindergarten for a couple of months, then I end up having to move to Georgia. So when I come to Georgia and my child has already been in kindergarten, but I haven't been in New York for 2 years, you're going to tell me that my child can't stay in kindergarten?
Yes, ma'am, according to the state of Georgia.
We need to do something about that, because then you're gonna send the child back to, then they gotta go to pre-K.
So it's that 2-year rule where they have to have lived, in two consecutive years in another state. So that's what the state of Georgia.
Now, that doesn't make any sense, but if that's what the state says, then next year I'm gonna make sure I'm down at the Capitol. We need to change that, because that's crazy.
Thank you.
Any other questions in regards to policy J? All All right, seeing none, we'll move to the next item. The next item, and we'll be voting on this tonight.
Good evening.
I believe that Ms. Goree handed us out the GSBA position that she wants us to hold. Joy's going to be representing us down in Savannah. Could you talk a little bit about this, Ms. Goree? What
Yes.
exactly you want us to do?
Yes, I sent everyone a copy of the GSBA information from last year, and what I included was, those were the governmental operational committee's recommendations where the delegates voted on it. So those are the ones that are standing right now. What I am trying to do, again, because I look at Mary Baker and myself, this is year 19 for us on the school board, and I believe that everyone sitting around this table has had 2 terms. And so every other elected official in the state of Georgia is eligible for a pension, except for school board members. So what I'm trying to do is to see if you all would support us going back again. What it says is this would be position 1D8. Board member benefits. Clayton County proposes the following new position, that GSBA supports the revision of the Georgia Code that would allow school board members the ability to receive a pension like all other state elected officials after having served 2 terms. School board members would have the option to participate in the pension plan. The rationale is, as I just said, currently every elected official in Georgia can participate in a retirement plan after having served 8 years in their respective capacity as an elected official, with the exception of local school board members. While compensation varies from district to district, school board members should be afforded the same opportunity, and we would be able to opt in or opt out. So if you didn't want to do it, then that's fine. If you want to do it, then it's all right. But right now, we don't have any, we're just basically trying to get the GSBA to put that as to support that position. And then it actually would end up being more legislative for that to come before the General Assembly. It actually has been recommended before that school board members have a pension, got all the way up to the governors, and for some reason they didn't sign it.
So basically, what you want the board to do is vote on this position this evening, and then Ms. Cooper down in Savannah, when she's at GSBA, will state this position?
Well, it may not get to that. I'm just trying to get you all to support it, because now it has to go before the Governmental Operations Committee.
For GSBA?
No, well, it's a committee that all those positions, they make a decision, and the past couple of times they've said no. It's the people that don't get, it's some.
How would you like us to support it?
Well, you support it by voting to say I can take it to the GOC.
Okay.
To ask them, and that's why I also sent you all sent the information, because I thought it might be some things you all might want to have added as well.
Let me open the floor for discussion really quick before we go on with a motion and a second and a vote. Anybody else has anything to contribute to this discussion?
I am more than willing to represent us down there in Savannah. I just have a few questions. I was just asking Clem, and maybe you can give me some answers as far as, is this something that other school boards are doing in other places? And what's the process usually for it?
Well,
things like this.
I can answer that question, in that the metro boards want that. Because I've already talked to Henry County and in DeKalb, all of us want it in the metro area. The problem is, what do we have, 180-something school boards? Some school boards don't get any money. They don't get a salary. They get money to go for staff. I keep saying staff development, but that's not what we call professional development, and for training. All of us in the metro area, we all receive a large amount. And as I said, they are the organization that represents us. So if they at least support the idea then the next step would be to get legislation to be able to make this happen.
To answer your question, Ms. Tellis Cooper, too, I would say the background is historically, service on a school board was seen as part-time and something that is not seen as having a huge time commitment, and there were stipends involved or no stipends involved.
Right.
Over time, other bodies, city councils, county commissions, other groups like that have gotten access to pensions. I'm giving you the argument on the other side now. And there's more and more requirements of you all and your duties and what school boards are required to do. And so this discussion, I would say it's, to Ms. Gorey's point, it's sort of heated up at times, and it was, I don't know, just a small handful of years ago where it got pretty close, and for whatever reason it didn't make it. And so I think her goal is to just to ask the Clayton board, is this something this board supports, and then really just put that into the process to see how this thing might move forward.
If you look in what I sent you, the different boards of education come in proposing things. For example, this board we didn't have health insurance. But if you'll look on there, you'll see that the position that one of the other school districts, they supported getting health insurance. And now, even once we leave the board, I think we can still keep the health insurance. It would be that we pay for it. But one of the things that I sought for this board was for us to be able to have health insurance, because my colleague that was District 4, Mr. King, died, and he didn't have any health insurance. But had he been able to attain it, then possibly, he still would be living. He probably wouldn't want to be on the school board, but, and then when we talk about part-time, all of these jobs are part-time. The General Assembly, they work 40 days. They're going to be done after 40 days. And they have a pension after 8 years. We'll be working out from, 24/7. Nothing is part-time. Plus, we actually make more money than they do. They make less money than we do. City Council, I believe Mr. Cobb is sitting in here. Maybe he left. Riverdale, they make less money than we do. So it's just up to you all whether you want to support it. Because as I said, once we have the discussion, it may not even make it to you. It might be struck down when I go to the committee meeting.
Ms. Hill, you had something to say? Okay, give me a second on that. I'll actually get you connected directly to Ms. Albritton in regard to that. Okay, we've discussed it. Does the board want to take a position on this? If so, can I get a motion on the floor to support this initiative?
I make the motion myself.
All right.
I move that we accept the GSBA position for board member benefits.
Second. Okay, the motion has been made and properly second. The motion was made by Ms. Gorey. The second was Mr. Christmas. Can I get a vote? You're good? All right. I got Ms. Hill? Okay. I got, and Ms. Bowles, you abstaining or no?
Abstain.
Okay. I got one abstention, that's Ms. Bowles. I got one no, which is Ms. Hill, and everybody else voted in the affirmative.
Thank you all.
Okay. We have three things that we have to vote on tonight. We got the CTAE Perkins v. Grant vendor approval. Can I get a motion to pass the CTAE Perkins v. Grant vendor approval? Can I get a motion? Ms. Gorey?
I move that we accept the recommendation of the CTAE Perkins 5 grant vendor.
Okay, the motion has been made and properly second. Can I get a vote? All right. Dr. Haney?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's unanimous. Next, we've been presented the employee salary supplement. Can I get a motion
We
for
all
the?
wanna, we all move.
All right.
We all move
All
that,
right. I'm going with Ms. Cooper, Dr. Goree, and can I get a vote?
Really?
Got it? I got you. Right. I'm sorry, man, I'm going back and forth, I apologize. All right, so it's unanimous.
Hold it.
Announce what that is, so people.
The motion was made by Ms. Tellers Cooper. It was seconded by Dr. Goree, and we've all voted unanimously.
Mr.
including
Stryker,
myself. Yes.
before you, we all did vote, but can we just give a little information out? Because well, we need a little information
Okay.
because I don't
Go-
know who gets what. Can y'all tell
Go
who
ahead, Dr.
gets
Hendricks.
what? 'Cause
I will ask Ms. Bivens to come down, but this is the moment many employees have been waiting
Yes.
for. It was a popular question
Yes.
in the tour, and so.
Okay,
Yes.
so, just a little backdrop
So
first.
this is FYI, we've already
This is
voted.
FYI, you've already approved it, thank you on behalf of the employees. And a communication will be going out, probably it's already sent out. We had to prepare it, so that information is in there, but I'll share it here publicly. So the state, as you all know, funded a $2,000 one-time supplement for QBE earned positions, and it's important to say that, and I know that's why Ms. Goree wanted me to do that, because we only earn certain positions. And do you want me to give the whole list of the people that we earn the money for?
I can't understand what you're saying. I just need you to be very clear about who gets
Okay,
2,000.
let me go through the list.
Talk slow.
Yes, sir, because I do talk fast sometimes and loud. Okay, so the state funded teachers, art, music, PE, parapros, clerks, which is a principal secretary, counselors, psychologists, social workers, technology specialists. Hold on. Lab supervisors, special ed specialists.
Can we, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Can we just say full-time and?
So it's all full-time, but the only reason why I'm giving the positions is because, for instance, and that's what Ms. Goree wanted. So the state gave us money for like the principals, but didn't give us money for assistant principals. They gave me money for bus drivers, but did not give us money for the bus monitors. They gave me money for principals, secretaries, but not for the bookkeepers and other clerks in the schools. So to be equitable, what we decided, and they also gave money for some central office people, including the superintendent, assistant superintendents, and the principals in the schools, in a secretary. I'm sorry? They didn't give us money for safety and security, but with what we presented, they will get $1,500. So everybody that's on this list, except for the central office people, will get $2,000. Everyone else will get $1,500 because those are the people that the state did not fund, but to be equitable and fair, we wanted to make sure that everyone got something without breaking the bank.
So is everybody in the building getting some money?
All full-time people will be getting the
Okay.
money.
Okay, so, and just piggybacking off of Ms. Bivens, the amount for the governor's supplement was $10 million. Your board decided to accommodate the recommendation of the superintendent for that additional $3 million to service the people that were not getting that.
Happy spring break.
And the super good news, and I hope I'm not giving this away, Ms. Bivens. The super good news, she said it
I was
already?
getting ready to say it.
Oh, she's good. All right, I'm going to let you do it. Go for it.
So, I don't know, the next question is when are we getting the money, right? So you all will have the money on Thursday in time for spring break.
Thursday, y'all. Thursday.
Any other questions?
Before you sit down,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
parent liaisons getting money?
Are they full-time positions?
Parent liaisons?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a yes, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes. They're
Okay.
full-time position, yes, ma'am.
Parent liaisons are full-time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She said yes.
Every full-time position, whether it's a grant-funded
But
position or
they're
every
not covered
full-time
under Q-
position.
They're not, they're going to be 1,500, right?
1,500, yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, we just want to be sure because I had to get in Facebook on that teacher page and get with some people
Stop it.
because they were dogging us out. And I told somebody, I was screenshotting them. I may see if I can find them as an employee we might need to withhold that 2,000.
Ms. Murray, we're not going to do
All right,
that.
so
Any other questions?
We're definitely accommodating our employees, all of our full-time employees. So good job, board.
Thank you.
The last item on the list is the approval of the proposed board meeting agenda for April 13th, 2026. Can I get a motion? Ms. Baker? And a second.
I'll second.
Dr. Goree. The motion has been made and properly seconded. Can I get a vote?
Is that everything?
Ms. Hill? Okay. So we have everybody in the affirmative. Mark Christmas is absent. And I think that's it. All right, 1 second. We good? Okay, I'll give up. All right. That's the conclusion of our meeting this evening. The time is now 8:15. Meeting is adjourned.